evictions and all that stuff, making it bigger than what it is a lot more, can be a lot more detrimental than just kind of letting it ride out sometimes. Because a lot of times, I know it's days I just feel things and I'm like, oh, where did that come from? I didn't expect that, or I didn't know that I could even feel that way. But it's because 20 million things are happening at once. It's because you have people saying, like, you got to be ready by 21, you got to go to college, you got to make sure you get a job that pays at least $14 to $16 an hour just to live. You got to, you know, make connections, you got to make sure that you do this, you make sure you do that. Like, at the end of the day, the main thing that I just want to stress to everybody is that this is our lives. At the end of the day, when you guys go home, we still live this. And that's really like the biggest thing that I want everybody to understand, is that no matter how much planning or implementing or slideshows or anything like that you guys might be able to give us, it's nothing more than knowing that somebody really cares about you. That is something, and it's like the senator said, we can tell, we know. The people that's here just for a paycheck and the people that's here just as a job, we really truly know. But I feel like, I mean, everybody in this room, I feel like you guys already took that extra step to come out and hear what we had to say. So, you know, that's probably an exclusion for all y'all, but we know the ones that are really just, not, that they don't care. And I think that's, to get all this stuff done, to get everything done, you have, like, we have to know that you guys care. And that goes for every single person. Like, I've had workers quit on me before. Straight up just say, you know, this is too much for me, but I thought that was your job. That's it.
All right, thank you. So we have another question or a comment right here. And so as she's preparing to share the reflection, I also want to put another question out there. Is there anything that surprised you in the presentation of kind of the patterns, please?
Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Denise Joseph. I'm with Hope Forward. I work with a number of youth, and the thing that I found out is the stable housing piece. Like, I'm working as they transition out of care, and they'll say, oh yeah, I have stable housing, Miss Denise. But then 2 weeks later, they're getting kicked out of their house. They have an argument. They can't deal with the different rules. So one of the youth that I've been working with, she was in maybe 4 or 5 different houses in the last year. And so when we talk about stable housing, if we can, the checklist that we have, if we can say, do they have stable housing for 12 months as opposed to stable housing? Because a lot of times they say, yes, I'll go with my cousin and I'll be there, and that's okay. And she said, as long as I, follow these rules, I'll be able to stay. But that typically ends up to be 2 weeks, 4 months, whatever the case may be. So if we can put that on our radar, that when we're asking them, do they have somewhere that's confirmed for the 12 months? Thank you.
My concerns is, I know some people that are part of the foster care system, they're foster parents. And I'm gonna be quite honest, I don't even see them as good parents. So what is done to train and consult and, follow up, measure the parents that sign up for the foster care system? Like I said, I know of 2 people that are foster parents, and I don't trust them. So, there are things that go on behind closed doors that, that a trained eye should be able to analyze and see. So how much is provided and done to measure these foster parents? That's the part that I didn't see here. I understand the piece where, you pull yourself up by your bootstraps and all that BS. I'm just being honest on how I feel, okay? I've raised 5 children. I know what it's like, and it's, someone, what's going on to look at those parents, okay? Because I wasn't taught how to be a parent, you know. I had to try to learn, and you understand? So what is going on to educate these foster parents and can continue with it, to measure it, to, you know, not just, you know, a once a month, or what's going on with that? That's the piece that I didn't see here, okay? And I think that's a big piece, or any person that is surrounding the child in care, you know, how are they assessed? That's it.
It's Mickey again. Go be hard for me for this. For the first parents for home is a craziness for me. It's not craziness because different people have different character parenting. Like how they keep parenting kids at home. My first experience for foster care, I came to foster care, I was scared. My lawyer asked me, do you want to move? I said, no, I'm cool, but I'm not cool. I'm not, but I'm scared. I eat in a different plate, different fork, every single day.
So as much as we talk about the kinds of supports that we coordinate as professionals working within the system, all of this happens on a day-to-day basis within families. And so I think the question that was raised about what's the connection to the foster parents, what's the connection to what happens on every single day and in the evenings in that very private space within a home, that really is what this work also has to be tending to. And so we can do as much as we can as professionals. Gloria?
I just want to say thank you for sharing. There is a process that individuals go through to become foster parents, and the ability of the worker to discern some of the things that are not outward is imperative. We have to build that skill set in the people that are interacting with foster parents. We can't catch everything. So the other thing we have to do is build relationships with our children, with our youth, so that they feel empowered to tell us when something's not right. And you know, that's the critical piece. I hate disrupting, moving people repeatedly, but you know, there's a couple of things that we have got to get better with. And you know, the first part is assessing character, for lack of a better word, to make sure that we're getting the right people who want to do this for the right reasons. And then the other part is having the relationship between the worker and the youth, so that when something is not appropriate or doesn't feel right, that youth feels empowered to share that. And I'm going to hand it back to my fashion designer because she has something to say.
I just have a question, kind of slight suggestion, whatever it may have you, however it moves you. I really want to know kind of like what training takes place for social workers, and like, is it the type of training that, you know, you just do once and then, you know, you move on to the next thing, you call it a day, or is it like really training that moves with the times and grows with the kids? Because just looking from the outside in, you know, dealing with a many different number of caseworkers and people in the department, I really only met one that was constantly learning, that was always on it that didn't give me just, I don't know. Like, if I can't come to you guys and ask you guys, and you don't, like, if you don't tell me, oh, I'm gonna go find the answer for you, like, I don't know now, but I'll figure it out. I don't mind that. I don't think anybody would really mind that if we really felt like you're gonna go out and you're gonna find that answer for us. But I think a lot of questions just go unanswered, unacknowledged, and just kind of tossed to the side because it's a part of that, oh, like, suck it up, you know, pull your straps up, call it, just tough it out. You're supposed to be an adult. But at the end of the day, like, most of the kids that are our age that live with their parents are still living with their parents. Their parents are doing their laundry. They're not buying groceries. They're not getting ready to move out on their own at 21 unless they're fully prepared with their parents behind them. So when, you know, we want to grow up too. We all, trust me, we all want to be adults. We want to get to the point where we can make all of these decisions on our own. But I really want to stress the fact that from the outside looking into the department, I can't see the effect of good training. So that's just what I kind of want to figure out what's going on.
Okay, all right, thank you. So I'm going to ask if someone can respond to that briefly. There's also another young person that wants to, comment. And then after that, we actually want to drill down into some of these patient housing, employment, and mental health or social and emotional well-being. So we're going to break into some smaller groups because I think what the kind of support looks like to respond to or to support each of those areas is a little bit different. So we want to get into that in some more detail in smaller groups and then come back together as a large group. Does that make sense? Okay.
So good morning, everybody. I think there's a lot of stuff to say, and I think what this shows is that this needs to be the first of many opportunities for the professionals, the courts, the lay people who are just involved, and the youth to come together and have these conversations. I was also at the meeting Wednesday evening, and we were actually had something else to do, and just when the youth were talking, it was like, we have to listen to them. This has to be heard. And they were just amazing at being able to say what they wanted to say. So I wanted to address the training. So first, I've been on various sides. So I was a foster parent. I'm an adoptive parent. I'm also a social worker who works in the system. So I say that not for any reason, but to say that I have a variety of different perspectives. So first, when it comes to the foster parent training and social work training, there is a lot of training that goes into it. But like with any bit of information, it's only information. It's how folks use the information and implement the information. So foster parents do go through a lot of training. They go through a number of hours of training. They go through a lot of home studies and assessments. But when it comes to the youth coming into their home, that's where the implementation comes in. And what we, as a system, and as Gloria spoke to, we need to be able to, how do we go about assessing once the implementation starts to happen, where do we need to go from there? Social workers have to go through undergraduate school, then we go to 2 years of graduate school. Every 2 years we have to get relicensed, which is 40 hours of continuing education, so I have to go sit and learn new information. But again, it's just information. It's how we implement it. So there's a lot of things that when we had young people in our home, there was a lot of things that we did that was because we already knew stuff. We already had the knowledge because of our social work background or our life experience. I've always worked with adolescents, so my ability to engage adolescents, it comes from the first 5 adolescents I worked with, and they taught me, no, this is how you say things, this is how you talk to us. You can't come in as a big old professional talking like you know everything. You have to come in respecting us and what we believe. And so I think, I go back to that training, I think there's a lot of training, it's about implementing, and it's how do we assess that implementation, and how do we give you guys the voice to be able to say, I'm not having my needs met, and then we can sit down and say, well, what do we have to do different? And I think we have to keep that platform of what do we do different, how do we give everybody a voice, and for those that don't have a voice, how do we help them find their voice? So that's kind of, I just wanted to touch base. I don't know if that answers your question specifically, but I think that's a key thing. And again, this is the first of many, because I think that's how we're going to progress and move our system forward specifically.
Got it. Got it, got it. And so I'm going to go back here because the young brother back here had his hand up. But I see a couple other hands, and so we can probably take a couple more. But one thing that I think is really, really important there is how do young people participate in and inform our assessment of how well that's working?
This is Alexis.
Hello. So like Ms. Carte said, my name is Alexis. So basically what we spoke about Wednesday, you know, like the terminology that everyone uses is not a good one. Like foster care, when people hear that we're foster children, they automatically pass judgment. And, you know, you can't be who you really are because of these labeling and the judgment, you know. Foster care is like everybody is just one person, but it's not. Like me, like I was saying in the meeting, I'm not human. I be joking, but I'm serious. You know, I like to exclude myself from everybody else because I'm extraordinary. I'm my own person. So, yeah, and before I joined the Youth Advisory Board, which I am on the Youth Advisory Board, you know, I wasn't human. I didn't like humans. I wanted to be by myself. But joining the Youth Advisory Board, I like all my peers now, and I'm more social. So, you know, and being in foster care, it's hard being in foster care. You know, I don't like telling people I'm in foster care. I generally don't, you know, because of embarrassment and being ashamed, you know, but you have to want to, you know, be different. You know, I want better for myself. Can't nobody else want better for me, you know. And like he was saying, you know, it's how you take the information. Because everything, these books, these magazines with people, it's everybody's opinion. Everybody has their own opinion. And I teach myself, basically. So, you know, I sit back and I analyze and I put pieces together because, you know, we all have different opinions of everything. So what somebody else say may not matter, what I say may not matter, but, you know, hey.
All right, thank you, Alexis.
I just wanted to say really quick, my name is Haley Carte, I'm the Independent Living Coordinator at Prince George's County. And first of all, I'm very proud of our youth. Some of them, this is the first time they've spoken in front of a crowd. And I think our Youth Advisory Board this year, more than any other year, they're just very encouraging of each other, very supportive of each other, emotionally, in other ways. And I think that brings up the point of there's three things that I keep looking at with this group that I'm working with that they need. And I think all foster care youth need is there are three Ps. People, just really good people in their lives. And then helping them find out how to find good people that are supportive in their lives. They need a process. And I think the process is where it's not mental health services necessarily always, or the therapy or the medication, but a way to process their pain. And sometimes it's in the group with the you know, them together processing their pain. Sometimes it is one-on-one, sometimes it's a sport, sometimes it's whatever, but just really pushing the kid to say, how are you processing your pain? How are you processing this stuff? And then I think the third thing that I'm really learning more and more, they need a platform. They need to be able to speak to what is really going on with them and speak for their peers, speak to this whole system. And so that's what we're trying to encourage in Prince George's County.
All right, thanks, Ms. Kate.
Good morning, everyone. My name is Antonio Morel, and I'm the chairperson for the State Youth Advisory Board. Really quick, can I just get all the youth to stand up real quick? All the youth. Ladies and gentlemen, these youth are the leaders. They're on the local youth advisory board, state youth advisory board, advocating, speaking on the behalf of other foster youth. One thing that I'm learning is being a leader is difficult sometimes because you have to put on a brave face and just go through it. Like you said, or like someone said, you just got to go through it. But it's hard. I get what you're saying. It's really hard. I just want to encourage you guys that you guys are the leaders. You guys are speaking up for the foster youth. You guys are leading them. So then, or I mean foster youth. You guys are leading other foster youth, younger foster youth, to be in your steps. you guys are encouraging them, or you guys have to learn how to encourage them. Hey, it's not going to be so easy, but I'm here for you. Because like Ms. Carte said, we don't want to talk to social workers all the time. We don't want to talk to adults. That's what the Youth Advisory Board is here for. That's what the State Youth Advisory Board is here for. I'm a member of the local Youth Advisory Board. When I was the president, I did this event called Peer to Peer. That event was just youth interacting. No formal, no education. It was just youth interacting with each other, because I feel like they need that. They need that type of support from each other. You know, if you want to talk to someone, here's my number, here's my email. I'm always here to speak with you, for you. That's all I just really wanted to say. I wanted to congratulate the youth for speaking up and being good leaders.
So we're going to take one more comment in this setting, but then we're actually going to move into some smaller groups where we'll be able to dig a little bit more and react to these kind of patterns a little bit more, please.
Hello, my name is Natasha Calfany, and I wanted to speak to the youth as well in here. I have the pleasure of being one of few child counsel in the room. And when you talk about a voice, I want to encourage you guys to use us, because that is what we're here for. It doesn't matter what it is that you're asking for, what you think, how you feel. We are your voice, at least in the courtroom. So whatever is going on, I cannot encourage you guys enough. When we say that things are confidential in our conversations, they are. They have to be. And so I want to challenge you to get over whatever the fear is. And I understand that, at least in the beginning, we're just another stranger coming into your life to know your business. However, we are here to be your voice. We are here to throw whatever social worker under the bus that you feel is not doing their job, or whatever therapist, or whatever the case. And that's not to get on my social worker friends in here, but we're here for you. And it breaks my heart to hear stories like yours, because whoever that lawyer was, that we're here to stand up and say, no, this is not right. Whoever that foster parent is, whoever that person is, we need to deal with that. So please, 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 you guys are not alone, especially in the courtroom. We are by your side. We are there to say what you want, not what we feel is best for you, what you want. And you have to let us know what that is.
All right, thank you, thank you. Can we hear it again, especially for the youth and the young adults that are in here? So we're actually going to continue this discussion, but just in 4 smaller groups. And so if you can look around and you can see where these easels are with the paper. So these are the sections that we'll be moving into. And so there are 2 in the back. There's one up here in the front to your left, and then there's one right back here behind the screen. And so education will be right back here behind the screen. Mental health. To the far side. Housing. So employment to my left in the back, and housing to the right in the back. And so we're going to take about 25 minutes or so in these conversations, and then we're going to come back to the larger group. So please move into the group where you feel like you can make the greatest contribution and have the greatest passion.
Which one did you say?